Hey guys, let's check it out. Wow, there's a lot of stuff on this table behind me. But right now, I want you to focus on this. This is Canon's new 45mm f1.2 lens. It is an STM version. It is a piece of brilliance, in my opinion. Weight on it is very, very satisfying. It is a super light f1.2 lens. It is STM. It's not part of the L series. There are also pros, some cons, and we've ran through this in the bushes chasing a little puppy. So have a look at this, where we are busy chasing it down, and we're trying to figure out exactly where this lens fits in and how we're going to tell you this is it. With the 45mm, I've always kind of had like a thing about it, because is it 50mm or was it supposed to be 35mm? It's almost like the conversation between a 50mm wanted to be a 35, but it's also wanted to be an 85, and we ended up with a 50mm. And now things have gotten more confusing. They brought out a 45mm. 45mm is a little bit more aimed towards your video specifications. On shooting on 16:9, the distortion, the ratio, everything on this focal length is actually brilliant. And it's not bad for photos. It's just that we've gotten into the mindset of 50mm is it. And I want to tell you that if you want something better than a 50mm f1.8, this is it. The 45mm 1.2 STM lens is great in terms of video and stills. So 45mm is a very odd focal length. And if we have a look at the 50mm range, 45, what's happening here? 45mm is a little bit more aimed towards your video functionality, and that distortion or the focal compression that you get at 45mm is very soothing to the eye. It's not 35mm, which can distort quite easily. And when I talk about focal distortion, I'm talking about my hand being nearly as big as my head versus it being much bigger than my head, depending on the lens that we use. Except for that juxtaposition, the focal distortion means out towards the sides, you'll find distortion on a lens depending on its focal length and its design. So my fingers will start distorting, moving out to the side here on the 16mm. Where with this 45mm, the compression ratio is a little bit, it's true. It is, the distortion on this I couldn't find. I mean, if you go and dig it up in the specifications, you might find it and find the issue in it. But I have to be honest, I would love this lens in my kit, especially if you're traveling, if you're going on a holiday and you're looking for something that is light, easy to use, and it's got your back when it comes to low light. Because this is 1.2 aperture. The f1.2 stop means that if you are recording out in dark conditions or interiors or wherever or at night, you've got f1.2. It just helps so much with light coming into the lens. Depth of field, obviously another question, but at 45 millimeters, the depth of field at f1.2 isn't too bad. And we photographed George here, our resident little pup, and it actually came out pretty satisfying. We took a shot at f1.2, here's a shot at f9, and you can see the differences in depth of field, what's in focus, what's out of focus. We also shot some video at f1.2, and I have to say that's where the compromise kind of came in for myself. I experienced that this lens is focus, and we ran through the R5 Mark II settings just to kind of reiterate and make sure that we're not messing up here. But the focus isn't as fast as I really wanted or expected it to be. Is it a major issue? No, it's not focusing as slow as the EF85 1.2. Those things took 3 business days to focus. This focus is good enough. It's just not as snappy as I've experienced on L series glass. But this is an L series glass, and it's coming in at a great price point, especially if you're looking for something that's going to cover you for video and stills, journalistic look and feel, and you're out there photographing, recording video, doing whatever you need to do. It doesn't have image stabilization though, which on the 35mm is available, but the image quality on this, in my opinion, is better than what I've experienced on my RF35 1.8. It is definitely better than the 50mm 1.8, and the next niggle is the image stabilization. It's not a problem. I'm either shooting out of hand. The camera's got IBIS, unless you're shooting with an EOS R8, then it hasn't got in-body image stabilization. So that also counters that entire effect or problem. It also keeps the cost down a little bit on these lenses. The functionality around it though, when we dive into focus breathing, which is another little niggle that kind of crept out that I found. If you have a look at this video and you look here on the right hand side, your screen left, I'm pointing at the bar. You just look at the bar. If I move out of the way, you can see our marketing team hard at work, making sure all our socials are exactly where they need to be. But I'm going to replay this video, and we're going to have a look how that bar actually shifts in terms of the focusing. So that's when focus breathing starts playing an effect. When the lens focuses, it kind of changes the view or the angle. It seems like it's zooming in slightly. It's just how the elements shift around. And that is a tiny problem. If you're creating content out at home or out and about, traveling, wherever, it's not going to be a massive issue. If you're sitting in a station similar to what I've got set up here, it's not going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue when you start getting into high productions and you want to do transitions from one point to another, and you're focusing pretty far away from a close focus distance to a far away focus distance. Is it a game changer for me? No. If you're looking for that specific features, you're not looking for this lens. You're most likely looking for something like a RF50mm 1.4 VCM lens. That's when you start going up to double the price of what these are or more. When we dive into one of the other niggles that I found on lenses, especially in the STM range, the RF35mm, the RF16mm, even the RF24mm, I kind of have issues putting filters on them. You can't put the big filter kits on them because it fixes straight onto the barrel of the lens, and it creates a problem. There's an internal focusing barrel, and as soon as that gets too much weight on it, it bombs out and the camera throws an error out. With this system, it's a different story. And I don't know if you can see here, but the design that they did on this, they've got this flange on the front ridge. I'm going to try and tilt it this way so that you can see there's just like this little lip that you can add your filters onto, and it doesn't affect the internal barrel, the focusing barrel at all. There you can see it moving around. That is a stellar design. That is the magic behind this lens. Because all of a sudden, I can add Nisi filter kits and bigger systems. I can, you name it, a matte box. I can add my Benro Pro filter kits on here and use that. It's just made it so much more versatile. versus my STM, my RF35 and the RF 16 millimeters, I have to get single little screw-in ND filters if I want to block out light on those. I can't use my fancy, nice, expensive kits. This, I can. This is delivering incredible image quality. Focus is good. It's not bad, but it's good. Design is good. Weight is brilliant. I'll give it 4 stars out of 5 for the weight on this lens. I actually want to give it 5. Can I give it, Amadesh? Can I give it 5? I'm going to give it 5 stars, 5 out of 5 stars for weight. Because it's not too light and it's definitely not heavy. It is definitely not heavy. And that is why I love this lens. And my recommendation would be to get into contact with the go-to guys at Outdoorphoto. Get your name on one of these babies. Lekker. See you later. Cheers.